Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Miles Stroter, and I'm here with another piece of art. When you listen to Coach LeAlan talk, sometimes it's hard to believe that he's knowledgeable or that his insights are real. But when you have the actual archive footage, it demonstrates irrefutable authenticity, as he says. LeAlan and I have been referencing our high school a whole lot, but we realize that everybody is not from Chicago that's watching. So we wanted to give some real context, not just about Forrestville High School or King High School or King College Prep, but the surrounding Kenwood, Oakland low end area and how it shaped all of it. So I went into the DeProgram archives and pulled some clips that tell the story the right way, from the Forrestville era to King to what the city became during the drill era. This isn't just history, it's environment. This is the DeProgram Podcumentary, the Inconsistency of Hope.
When you're in Chicago's Loop, you're north of it. You've got to go south to get there. South past Soldier Field, past Prairie Shores, Lake Meadows, South Commons, and then you're near. Kenwood, Oakland, it's called. It starts at 35th Street on the north. On the east, the boundary is the outer drive, the park, the beach, and the lake. On the south, it stops at 48th Street, just short of affluence. The western edge is Cottage Grove, where there are no cottages and no groves. Kenwood, Oakland, a little more than a square mile of the ghetto, shaped like a wedge, valuable land on the lakefront. Kenwood, Oakland, almost totally black, nestled between high-rises on the north and a rich integrated Hyde Park on the south.
On December 23, 1969, I was indicted for murder. I'm Leonard Sengali, spokesman for the Black Peace Stone Nation. Within the space of a month, the spokesman for the Vice Lords was indicted for murder. The spokesman for the Black Peace Stone Nation was indicted for murder. And the leader of the Illinois Black Panther Party was killed. Several community organizations managed to raise my bail and I was released. As I was walking home down Drexel Avenue, a young stone, what we call a June bug, yelled out, "Welcome home, Sengali." "Right on, little brother," I said. "No, Sengali, it's right off. Right off, right off. Right on mean you go on and on. We want ours right off, right now." This little dude kind of knocked me over, made me realize something. In the past 10 or 15 years, not much has changed for most black people in America. We still got no jobs, rotten housing and schools, inadequate medical care and so on. This is the same. But black people's minds are different, especially with the kids. They're coming up proud to be black, with a sense of self-respect and the demand for justice.
So what we're talking about is making a stand here, now.
Sengali is more than executive organizer of COCO. He is liaison to a large number of young people in the community, the Black Peace Stones, formerly called the Blackstone Rangers. Sengali is a member of the Stones, and he is spokesman for the entire Black Peace Stone Nation. In a second series of news stories about COCO and TRF, it was revealed that Jeff Fort, leader of the Stones, had been hired by COCO at a salary of $9,000 a year.
We brought Jeff Ford in as a youth coordinator. We were immediately attacked as being gang-orientated, that the gangs would control the organization as a result, would control the community. Well, this wasn't true, and to prove Jeff's sincerity, his real compassion for black folks, he stepped out so that adults could fully participate in this project without feeling that they were being controlled by young people.
At this time, we're going to have a report on the progress that's being made on the Black Peace Stone Palace Restaurant.
Establishing local business is one of the goals of COCO. Chester Evans, manager of the Stone's Palace restaurant. The restaurant hasn't been allowed to open, and in the Stone's opinion, City Hall wants to keep it closed.
Like two or three restaurants between Drexel and Lake Park, and that's a 7-block area.
We have opened up the Palace restaurant to try to steer the young people into more constructive channels. As a result, we have had difficulties from the city in opening. As of yet, we haven't been able to open. The health department comes out, and each time they come up with a list of things that they say doesn't meet the specifications of the city. The Peastone restaurant is one of the cleanest on 47th Street, and I look at this as an attack on the young people and on the community in terms of self-determination. All the stuff, the hopes and whatnot was dashed on the floor. There's got to come a time, and there's got to be a place that these people like back here, like Du Bois and King and Malcolm, don't just be spiritual leaders, that it's become recognized that the things that people like Jeff Ford, people like you, Chuck, and other brothers here, really be considered to be responsible leadership, this got to be. But they don't intend to have no progress.
The uniform the Stones now wear is a black suit or black pants with a green stripe, which is symbolic of black, and the green is symbolic of growth and money and progress. Well, these brothers are being harassed and beaten just because they have this identification. Anything which is independent from the city here is looked down on. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if someday we're not raided and comes up with a story that that some dope or some marijuana or something was found in our office here. It's a common occurrence that parked right outside of our window daily. There are police cars. Occasionally we see these people taking notes, and sometimes some of them who would be friendly, and I wish more of them would try to be friendly, come into our office and begin to ask questions about what's going on. On the part of the Stones, there has been an effort on the part of the police department to undermine every kind of a positive project which they may engage into.
Right now, the fellows that's involved in this project are going to school to especially learn how to handle food and manage this here place. And we were closed up for reasons that is almost impossible to believe, considering the deplorable conditions of restaurants that are in our community, you know. So it's really a political thing.
Alfonso Small is an Army veteran, a black Peastone, and a high school dropout. He's COCO's staff organizer in the field of education.
What they're teaching our children in school today is the same thing they taught me years ago, nothing. You know, they're preparing us for yesterday instead of trying to prepare us for tomorrow. This is kind of hard on the child. Plus, they come into our classrooms, the windows are broken. They sit in the classroom. Sometimes the teachers and the child have to sit in classrooms, they coach. And half the time the child's in school, how can a child learn when the child is hungry? I feel education is very important to us, to our black children. Because I think we want our kids to qualify to control this community. We just don't want to come in talking about we're going to control this, control that, and the child have a 8th grade education. You know, we feel our kids need a college education, a high school diploma. It's important to us.
Community, we don't have recreational facilities. So the kids are on the street day and night. They are harassed by the police. They're moved from one street corner to another. There's no other place to go but another street corner. So we intend to try to get better recreational facilities and try to increase the services, because we feel that the population has doubled or tripled and the services haven't been increased to compensate for this.
Well, if you can go down here and talk to these guys who are standing on the street either doing drugs or selling drugs or drinking liquor out on the streets, what would you...
They're killing off their own race. I tell them that. They're killing off their own race.
Now a forum on inner-city children and their legal representation. Several attorneys joined in this discussion with LeAlan Jones, a former resident of the Chicago housing developments and a youth reporter for National Public Radio. The panel was held as part of Children's Day during the American Bar Association's annual meeting.
LeAlan Jones. LeAlan is 17, he's from Chicago, he's been a National Public Radio commentator for 4 years. During those 4 years, he's given us an inside view on the lives and concerns of children in Chicago that I think really accurately reflect the issues that face children in urban areas around the country. There's a CD available. I've gotten my copy. He only brought about 15. Sorry, that means only 14 of you can get the other copy. I've got mine. You'll have to get yours. LeAlan is a senior at Martin Luther King Junior High School in Chicago, and he is the junior spokesperson for the No Dope Express. LeAlan.
Thank you. Good morning. I'd like to give thanks to the American Bar Association for bringing me here, especially Mrs. Pat Hanrahan, Mr. Frank Cervone, and all the others who've made this an enjoyable stay. My grandfather for accompanying me here this weekend. First, I'd like to talk about my experiences as far as what I can give to this speak about war in the trenches. I probably have a lot to tell you, but I only have a short period of time to talk because I have to respect other panelists. I'm from the south side of Chicago. I live surrounded by, as you call, sub-housing, a lot of projects that we call them, around a lot of gangs right now. And around my community, there's a gang warfare going on right now. About a block between both gangs is where I am at. It's right across the street. There's only one street to divide both gangs from one another. And really, it's not two different gangs. It's the same gang, but they're having a strife between one another. And a lot of people have got shot. I remember not just last week, I was coming from football practice, and I went to a friend's house, Lloyd Newman, who I did my documentaries with, and someone had just got shot. Homicide detectives running all around. Now, some kids, that would hurt a lot of kids if they weren't familiar to the surroundings and things that go on in the community that I'm in, but kids are now accustomed to what goes on in that community, and that's scary. For the simple fact that they must harden themselves inside as far as their mentality. They must, have to, imagine yourself at a young age, 11, 10, having to block out, seeing someone laying on the pavement bloody and getting shot. Imagine having to block that out just to go on every day. And that's scary that they have to see that, but yet we still, as a people, want them to succeed in those conditions. And if you look at the suburban atmosphere, a lot of kids might have problems at home as far as divorce or just domestic disputes, but these kids deal with things like this on a daily, violence firsthand. So if violence is in your home, it's in your community, it's in your surroundings, I don't care how many programs they put in your school, but you're only in school for maybe 5-6 hours a day. Now that leaves 19 other hours for you to see this. And that, if that's what you see every day on a daily basis, then you think that's life. And a lot of kids don't have the opportunities to see other things like I'm seeing this weekend at Disney World. They might see the commercials and, see Mickey and Donald Duck running around, but their reality is what they see every day, and that's shooting, gang banging, drug dealing, prostitution in some cases. And it's right in their home. Some of their parents do it, uncles, aunts. And if you are a young kid, you want to go to school. They say going to school and, be the best you can be and all that, but how can you be the best you can be out of those terrible situations? I can say that at a young age, I was exposed to a lot of those things. I even debated with myself either I want to take another route and try to find something to do positive, or should I just go ahead and submit and be with the crowd. And I mean, I graduated out of 8th grade with a class of about 75 kids. Only about 15 to 20 of them are still going to school on a regular basis. You know, most of them have kids now. Some of them already been in jail. And, you know, the reform, they're talking about building more jails and prisons, but if you look at that, you know, the next 3 elections, next 12 years, if you're locking up the young people that will be voting in these elections, I mean, what can they contribute to society if they're locked up at, you know, 13, 14, 15? What can they contribute to society when they make 21, 22, 23? I mean, honestly, what can they contribute? Jail right now would be the worst thing for any young person. When you go in there, you're exposed to more things than you are on the streets, but that's slowly changing every day. Because, I mean, if you live in a community such as mine, I'm not bragging on the situation because there's nothing to brag about. It's terrible. It's almost a ritual for you to go to jail, and if you don't go to jail, then it's almost like you haven't lived your life and you haven't fulfilled the dream. And I mean, Dr. Martin Luther King's dream was far from that. And I think now in 1996, going into the next millennium, we as a people, not black, not white, not yellow, not green, we need to, you know, put all that aside, and we need to focus, because if we don't help our kids out now, you get older every day. Before you know it, some of you guys will be senior citizens. That might scare you. But how would this country be ran if the youth of tomorrow are locked up? I mean, look at it. I mean, what would society be like? And part of that is lack of education. In most of these communities where there's high crime, the schools are subpar. I mean, the books that you might read in a suburban area or an upscale area, the books are more updated. The books we read are still dealing with Vietnam and other warfares. I mean, those dates are out, but teaching methods have been updated since those books have came out. And a lot of the schools are in what do you call that, the schools test score is so low, like the standardized testing tests that they take every year, the scores are so low in some of these schools. Like my high school is in that same state, and my grammar school that I graduated from is in that same state, where their scores on the standardized testing is so low that they're bringing in state. My high school has the lowest scores in the whole state of Illinois. Lower scores, but yet I go to that school every day. And it's not because the students don't want it, it's that there's no one really there to bring it out of them. Out of all this violence, things that they see every day, I mean, school is the largest thing away from their mind. And, if you have to worry about living every day, then school is, secondary to your everyday needs. I mean, then you might need necessary funds to take care of yourself, or a sibling, or an aunt, or an uncle. So therefore, school is probably secondary. And how can you blame a person for making school secondary when they have to put their life first? The politicians every turn they're talking about how they want to do things, and they make promises and make big statements, and like the GOP, that crime bills and all this. I mean, that's great to get have Congress talk about it, but if they're not going to do anything, then don't raise the issue. I mean, and yet they're giving these kids jail cells at 18 and 19, but yet they don't put out there that you need to vote. They don't have they don't get you out there to register to vote. If they had a voting officer every police car, I think we'd have a lot of people voting when it comes around election time. But that's scary, because if you get educated voters out there, then a lot of people wouldn't be in office. And that scares a lot of politicians. I'm going to talk about the solution now. I've given a lot of statements about what's going on, and it would be wrong for me to talk about a lot of the problems and not give a solution to those problems. My solution would be that when kids do commit a crime or do make some kind of mistake, we can't just say, well, we're going to, it's no more hope.
It's the hope.
Because once you give up on hope,
the hope,
there's nothing else to hold on to. And that's the only thing we have right now, is hope.
The hope.
And we don't have a lot of it going around nowadays. I can look at, when I go back to my hotel, I can look at the local news and, see that there's not a lot of hope.
Hope.
So therefore, we have to give hope to these kids.
The audacity of hope.
We have to make them feel self-pride, make them feel good about themselves. I know maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I didn't feel very good about myself. I didn't know what was my direction in life. But now in 1996, I have a lot of direction. I have my own CD, produced 2 documentaries for radio. I produced a TV documentary for ABC News. I've traveled. And like I say, those experiences changed me, and all because a person instilled something in me, and that's the No Dope Express Foundation, which I'm a junior spokesperson for. In grammar school in 8th grade, I talked a lot, but I didn't talk the way I do now. I had a lot of more bad words to say and not a lot of, I was one of the kids I'm talking about now, but someone saw something in me that they brought out of me, and with that, you see me now in 1996 talking to you about war in the trenches, which I'm not a part of, but I'm trying to find solutions for. So we need to get more programs out there, such as the organization I'm in, or the ABA, for instance. Everybody in the ABA is successful, else they wouldn't be in the ABA. And a few years ago, I laughed at this now that I didn't even know what the American Bar Association was. I thought it was a bunch of alcoholics that were promoting the habit. And now I'm speaking, so we have to really go at this at a joint effort. The ABA, the No Dope, whoever, to stop this, because we have to start now. There's no tomorrow if we don't prepare today. So I'm gonna sit back and let me the sample speak, and thank you.
I had another question for LeAlan, and that is, listening to what people have talked about here, about what Jack was saying about way lawyers can help and some of the other people, I wondered what you're hearing from kids and grown-ups in your community about things that can be done, things like No Dope Express or other ways in which people can help out and change things.
One thing with the samples brought up that I was thinking of that I didn't get out was that the mentoring part. Let's take law out of the picture for just 1 second. Take part of the picture for 1 second and deal with these kids on mutually love, not law, not University of Miami, not wherever you graduated from or cum laude, but one-on-one. Let's knock all that out and what you have to show them in life spectrum. And if you can do that, and then law plays a key role, but yet if you come at, kids are real now, phony people don't last long from where I'm from. If you're a phony person, you're spotted outright. And if you come at kids and, I'm just doing this for pro bono hours or whatever, it shows. You have to do it for love and a respect and out of kind-heartedness. And not, because I don't want to get 200 whatever pro bono hours you can get for your firm, but on, mutual love, respect, and out of kind-heartedness.
Yeah.
Drill music is a subgenre of hip-hop that originated in Chicago in the early 2010s. It's characterized by its aggressive lyrics and trap beats that reflect the harsh realities of urban life. The lyrics of drill music often reference violence, drugs, and street life. The first drill tracks emerged from Chicago's South Side, where poverty, unemployment, and gang violence were rampant. The lyrics often describe the experiences of young men who had grown up in these neighborhoods and had witnessed or been involved in violence themselves.
What I must be rapping about, we don't be lying about this.
You rapping about what's living out there, I'm saying. The deeper rap, really.
What would you call that movie?
So we call it drill music. A lot of niggas do this shit for YouTube views and all this shit. We trying to eat, we got killers to
real,
feed.
Man. Body's dropping.
Chicago drill has had a bigger impact on gangster rap and street culture in general than anything else in the last quarter century. For better or worse, a lot of the trends across hip-hop in the present day originate from this time period. From firearms and videos to dissing the dead and putting ops in blunts. Chicago took gangster rap to the extreme and basically erased the line between entertainment and reality. A grassroots movement that started in the trenches of the south side of Chicago took off by itself with only the help of the internet and blew up into the mainstream, traveling everywhere across the country and even overseas. Generational stars emerged and grew to be icons. The streets and gang culture was broadcasted for anyone with the internet connection to observe, and nothing would ever be the same.
Well, if you can go down here and talk to these guys who are standing on the street, either doing drugs or selling drugs or drinking liquor out on the streets, what would you...
Killing off their own race. I tell them that. They're killing off their own race.
It's the hope of slaves sitting around a fire singing freedom songs. The hope of immigrants setting out for distant shores. The hope of a young naval lieutenant bravely patrolling the Mekong Delta. The hope of a mill worker's son who dares to defy the odds. The hope of a skinny kid with a funny name who believes that America has a place for him too.
Is it seduction or is it all in your mind?
Hope in the face of difficulty. Hope in the face of uncertainty. The audacity of hope.
Kids are real now. They don't, phony people don't last long from where I'm from. I mean, if you're a phony person, you're spotted outright. And if you come at kids and, well, you know, I'm just doing this for pro bono hours or whatever, it shows. You have to do it for a love and a respect and out of kind-heartedness.
Chapter 2, The Hood. This can be found on page 32 in your book, if you're reading along. There's also a picture of the filth in the Ida B. Wells complex. The Hood. Our neighborhood is a fun neighborhood if you know what you're doing. If you act like a little kid in this neighborhood, you're not going to last too long. Because if you play childish games in the ghetto, you're going to find a childish bullet in your childish brain. If you live in the ghetto, when you're 10, you know everything you're not supposed to know. When I was 10, I knew where drugs came from. I knew about every different kind of gun. I knew about sex. I was a kid in age, but my mind had the reality of a grown-up. Because I seen these things every day. Like, when I was 8 years old, my cousin Willie had a friend named Baby Tony and another friend Little Cecil. They used to hang out, watch TV, go to the park, and hoop and sell drugs. They all went to jail. When Baby Tony came out, he was walking through the park when a boy lit him up, blew his face off. His face was entirely blown off. And then a couple of days later, Little Cecil sold somebody a dummy bag of plaster from off the walls, so the man who was using it came back and asked him for his money back. Little Cecil took off running and the man shot him, and Cecil was dead. That was both of my cousin's friends that died in 1 week. And I heard about this when I was 8. I had just seen Baby Tony the day before he died.
Mythical, mystical, some say I'm crazy, some say biblical, cause I say light is reciprocal, and to see it is to be it, and seeing is believing. But just remember, they won't believe you, so no, I don't believe them, non-believers. Baby girl say she don't believe them either, so now we just share our loneliness and touch through the ethers. Baby, can I touch you through the speakers?